wish to tender for the record a counterterrorism unit whistleblower DOJ memo which documents the spike in harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff since the January 6th violent insurrection on this Capitol by the same forces, by the way, that perpetrated that violence on this Capitol. And I'd also like to tender for the record 2 articles, both of which document the fact that the FBI is not using threat tags on parents who protest at school board meetings.
Without objection.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to further state that the same forces that unleashed the violence on January 6th are responsible for the violence and threats of violence that are being directed at school board members across the country. This is a phenomenon that is well documented, and H.R. 350, the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021, simply is bipartisan legislation that authorizes the creation of 3 offices, 1 each within the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to monitor, investigate, and prosecute cases of domestic terrorism. And the newly created offices would be required to provide joint biannual reports to Congress assessing the state of domestic terrorism threats with specific focus on white supremacists. And the reason why that is because that's where the violence is coming from, the white supremacist movement. And I know my colleagues on the other side of the aisle don't want to hear that, but it is the truth. And instead, they want to continue the politics of aggrievement. In other words, blaming someone for something that's happening to them. I mean, it's ridiculous. If it's not Hunter Biden and his laptop, which, by the way, they talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. The laptop has been in their possession for 3 years. They have yet to come forward with any information that would inculpate Hunter Biden in any criminal activity. And that is being
Will the gentleman yield?
That's being investigated by the FBI as we speak. But I digress back to H.R.
Would the gentleman yield for?
No, I won't. I digress back to H.R. 350, the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021. This is good common sense legislation to address a threat that is real, is proven, and my colleagues on the other side of the aisle can't seem to appreciate the fact that the forces that they support, which are those that attacked this Capitol on January 6th, are the same forces.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that the gentleman's word be taken down.
I don't know what I said. What words?
You claimed that these were our people, that the insurrection on January 6th.
Clock will stop while we're doing this. I'm sorry. Say that again?
The gentleman's point is a valid one.
What are the words?
We could have the transcript read back, but
well, what are you saying the words are? I just didn't hear.
He said that. Well, you want to give it?
Mr. Chairman, he said, he wasn't implying even, he said specifically that those of us on this side of the aisle supported and encouraged those who rioted and committed insurrection.
Well, I mean, that's a fact.
Gentleman like to clarify.
So, I want his words down. I want his words down.
Would the gentleman like to clarify? We can have the words read back. Would the gentleman like to clarify that he's not specifically accused anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask the words be read back from the transcript to make sure they're
accurate.
accurate.
Words will be read back.
These members.
You have to go back to the top of his statement.
I would just volunteer that you're willing to rephrase, say something more generous.
Mr. Chairman, I would be willing to rephrase and say that it's not my intention to accuse my colleagues, my friends on the other side of the aisle, of directly supporting the insurrection.
Would that be satisfactory?
If that is what they're objecting to, if that's what they contend that I
Well,
said.
let's have the words read back first.
It's going to take 20 minutes?
The gentleman has withdrawn his comments.
The gentleman has withdrawn his comments. There's no purpose to having it read back. And there are votes on the floor.
He did not withdraw, Mr. Chairman. I'd like a point of clarification that he's withdrawing all his comments, if that's the case.
No, I'm not going to withdraw all of my comments. I will withdraw whatever comment that you take exception to in the interest of moving us forward, but not each and everything that I said. So if you can give me something that I said that you object to, I'd be happy to consider withdrawing it.
The gentleman has withdrawn his comments. There's nothing further to discuss.
We've requested that the words be read
gentleman will
back.
proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I ask you a point of order.
Gentleman will state his point of order.
We requested the words to be read back. You ordered that the words be read back.
The words were withdrawn. There's no need to read
The
them
gentleman
back.
doesn't even know what words
And
that
you
he's
can't tell me
withdrawing.
what words you are objecting to.
That's why we want them read back, so you can
You
know.
haven't
for
made
sure.
a specific objection.
Oh, we sure did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I sure did. I'd like go ahead and read my words back then. You'll hear a specific objection.
Gentleman restate his objection.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman said that people on this side of the aisle supported, and I can't remember what the second word he said, those who participated in the riot and insurrection on January 6th. That's
Okay,
what he said.
I will withdraw, if I said that comment.
He
The
said
gentleman has
encouraged as
withdrawn the comment. There's nothing to be taken down. The gentleman will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So once again, we have my friends on the other side of the aisle wanting to coddle forces that are participating in the intimidation of school board members across the country.
I move that the gentleman's words be taken down.
And the reason why they...
Mr. Chairman,
The reason why...
He's imputing motivation constantly.
The
That's
reason
ridiculous.
why I contend
Chairman,
that is
Mr.
this
Chairman.
very amendment.
What?
I've asked that his words be taken down.
words?
He just said that the members on the other side of the aisle want to coddle people, that was his words, coddle people who intimidate school officials around the country.
I will rule that that is within permissible comment in a debate. The
So
gentleman will proceed.
the gloves are off.
Gentleman will proceed.
Mr.
We
Chairman...
will respond in kind.
Mr.
You already
Chairman...
have. The gentleman will proceed.
Mr. Chairman,
The gentleman will proceed.
Appeal the
we're
ruling of the
appealing the
chair.
ruling of the
Gentlemen,
chair.
it's not-
We're appealing the ruling of the chair.
There is no ruling of the chair.
Move
You
to
ruled
table.
that it was in, you
Move to
ruled that it
table.
was
A
permissible.
ruling of the chair can only be in response to a point of order. There was no point of order, and no point of order is in order, and the gentleman will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So therefore, I rise in opposition to this amendment, which would ban the Federal Bureau of Investigation from creating or utilizing a threat tag of edu officials or any similar threat tag with respect to parents voicing an opinion about the upbringing and education of their children. This is something that is unnecessary. It seeks to tie the hands of the FBI from investigating the escalating threats